The final race of the day, and it's OK Senior, so action guaranteed. Mark Kimber and Gus Lawrence on the front row, Joe Turney and Ryan Green on the second from Bobby Game, Roman Haskett, Jamie Flynn, Will Pettit, James Lingard and Rory Hudson in the top 10, with Ben Wooldridge, Oliver Clark and Roy Johnson. Keep an eye on Clark in P12. He will not want to finish as low down as that in this one. Here we go, tally-ho, and through the horseshoe, down to Billy's blind, and already it's getting very, very tight as they go through the first corner. Still a little bit damp and drizzly. The rain is holding off for the moment, and we're hoping it's going to stay that way to the flag, but it's very intense already.
Billy's blind is a notorious corner in karting. We normally see carnage through there on the opening lap, but we've had every single race get through Billy's blind with not one kart going off. We put a slow motion camera there. It's, well...
it's been useless, hasn't it? It's been a bit redundant, unfortunately. But yes, there's only been one incident on the very first couple of corners, and that was actually through the horseshoe, and that was Owen Tolley. But you're absolutely right. Every single race, in the finals at least, have been absolutely clean as a whistle. Oh, and now, just as we say that, there goes the 5. Jamie Flynn. Looks like contact with Roman Haskett. Don't tell me who started it. No idea. As Mark Kimber's about to lose the lead. Turney throws it up the inside, but Kimber just shuts the door in time before Bobby Game picks it up. Great battling in the early stages of this one. Turney is your leader. Kimber second. Game third and Gus Lawrence fourth. They're already starting to get a gap to the men behind them.
Bobby Game here in third place. He's racing against the drivers in this field. The two in front particularly are younger than his kids. It's amazing, and he looks up the inside, can't quite get it done, holds on to third. What a story this is if he was to win this.
Whoa, Kimber goes onto the curb there, and now Game's trying to throw it up the inside. Kimber squeezes him out. Gus Lawrence gets through. That was a really feisty bit of driving there from Kimber, determined not to let Bobby Game put one over on him, as I think that's Ryan Green losing a place, dropping down into P6. Now, who's that coming forward? Up into P5. That is the 41, Ben Wooldridge. So Wooldridge has now come up into P5.
Oliver Clark on the 62's on the move. Roy Johnson on the 63, he's on the move as well. Roy Johnson, the former British cadet champion some years ago. He is definitely, he's come from, I think it's 13th on the grid, so he's making some moves, as is Oliver Clark.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan Green struggling the 26, the privateer, number 26. He's in there or thereabouts, just in there in front of Roman Haskett, but it looks like both of them are really struggling to keep up with the pace here. Obviously, Haskett may have some damage from Flynn, but we'll double check and see how that continues on. Turney in the lead though, Kimber, Lawrence, Game, Wooldridge, and I think that is now Roy Johnson in 6th position in front of Ryan Green, but Oliver Clark, I think that is, he's either in 8th or 9th position. He's in 9th position behind Roman Haskett, so Clark is coming through pretty rapidly.
Roy Johnson there's coming through from the back of the field. There he is, orange helmet with a sit on the 63. Lawrence makes up the move for second.
Yeah, Lawrence is there. Lawrence has got through past Kimber, so he's trying to chase after Joe Turney on his own. Roy Johnson in P6. There's Ryan Green about to lose the spot to Clark, who's already got past Roman Haskett. So Clark is going to come through into P7. Has he done it? Yeah, not quite. No, he's not quite there yet. No, now he is. So he's got through. No, he did pass Haskett, and then he passed Green. That's how quickly he's getting through them. So now that is Roy Johnson in 6th. In 7th, that is Oliver Clark in front of Green and Haskett. So a great battle developing as Wooldridge is desperately trying to climb over the back of Bobby Game's kart in his attempt to get into the top 4. Turney, Lawrence, Kimber, Game, Wooldridge and Johnson with up to 7th place Oliver Clark. There's Jamie Flynn, not far away from being lapped by the race leader.
Here comes Johnson. Johnson's made his way past, so it looks like Johnson up to 5th.
And now past Game, up into P4 goes Roy Johnson in the 63. And now at the back of that queue is Oliver Clark, so he's trying to move his way forward. Game goes wide. This is a chance for Wooldridge up the inside. Wooldridge goes through. Clark goes through. This is amazing. Bobby Game was in P4 half a lap ago. He's now down to P7 in front of Green and Haskett.
So Mark Kimber on the 47 just going through the picture there. I think he's in 3rd place. It's still Turney, there he is, he's got a comfortable lead, he goes through, that marker gets out of the way, but Turney is away and clear at the moment, but this class, I'm told, is very tyre dependent. The tyres can wear, if you wear them early, you can pay for that in the latter stages, so it's not an unassailable lead.
There goes Clark, up the inside, he makes the move there on Ben Wooldridge, so Clark goes up another position chasing down Roy Johnson. Now the man in 10th position, it looks to me like Will Pettit is still trying to work his way through. He's had a really difficult struggle in the first weekend of OK Seniors, working his way further forward, but hopefully there's a little bit more speed to come at the next round of the championship for him. He's now getting on terms though with Roman Haskett to try and move into P9. There's Ryan Green. Haskett hassling Bobby Game to try and move up another position. Bobby Game seems to have completely fallen off the pace here. Not quite sure what's happened. Has he got a problem developing?
Yeah, that may be tyres, could be anything really. It certainly looks like his kart's going off. It's not as strong as it was in the early stages, and we know he's got the qualities as a driver. If he's got the right kart underneath him, he's capable of winning this race, and plenty of others as well, despite his age, I will say, against these drivers who, I'll say again, most of whom are younger than his children.
Well, here comes the battle for second position.
Oh,
It's Joe Turney. Look, he's really pushing the tyres.
That's a tyre problem, Jake. That just looked as he came round there into the S's.
Clark dives up the inside of Johnson and gets the place, so he's up in a P4. Now, if these four continue to push each other further forward, if Turney's got problems with tyres, this race might not be won yet.
No, certainly. It did look like he's struggling with tyres there as he came through the S's. Joe Turney will have to keep an eye on that.
There is the leader, and look, the gap is not as big as it was.
They're closing in for sure.
Now, if they just work together for a couple of laps, they'll get right on him, but up the inside goes Clark, and Johnson goes with him. So back down to 5th goes Mark Kimber. Kimber was leading the race at one point, don't forget. He's now down to 5th. So the real battle developing between these 5 drivers for second place. Lawrence in front of Clark, in front of Johnson, in front of Kimber, and at the back of the queue is Ben Wooldridge.
So is that Clark through to 3rd, Jake, starting P12?
It is, yeah, Clark is in 3rd position. Here's the battle for 7th. Green has now got through, Haskett's got through, Bobby Game is now in the clutches of Will Pettit, so Pettit is going to try and come through to 9th place. Here goes Clark, he's going to make the move for 2nd position. He's got him on the straight. What a mate. He didn't even have to go to the braking zone. He'd already got Gus Lawrence, and now Johnson goes through to 3rd as well.
Yeah, so Johnson started 13th, Clark started 12th, and they're up now to 2nd and 3rd. Not in that order.
Well,
it is Clark through to 2nd,
well, Clark and Johnson's
Bobby
pace.
Game's got a problem, Jake.
Yeah, Game has definitely got a problem, but Clark and Johnson's raw pace, they could catch Turney before the end of this race. They could get there. Turney's not got as big a lead as he had before. Look, Clark is dropping the queue. Clark is dropping the queue. He may have time to do this.
Yeah, it looks like Turney's got issues. He's looks like, I don't know, maybe he's cooked his tyres, but he certainly looks like he's sliding around as he came through the S's earlier on. And Clark has got the kart underneath him to take this race. He's got some gap to make up, but if he makes it up, I think he'll sail straight by.
Now, Pettit has got past Game in 9th position, so Bobby Game definitely with a tyre problem, but we think Joe Turney may be developing a tyre problem of his own. He's holding on to the lead for dear life, but look, Clark is just slashing that lead. The only problem he's going to have is whether he runs out of time before the end of the race, but what if Clark could go from the 6th row of the grid to win this race? That would be amazing. And look, he's reeling him in big time. Johnson 3rd, Lawrence 4th, Kimber and Wooldridge, that's 4th, 5th and 6th, and they're still racing each other for dear life, and either one of them could sit on 4th place.
This race, full distance, is 15 minutes plus a lap, as opposed to the other races in the championship this year, 12 minutes on a lap, so he's got plenty of time to... Oh, he's closing him in.
Yeah, he's going to do him.
He's 0.6 of a second quicker than the man in front. He's going to have him at the end of this lap. He may be Billy's blind here next time around where he takes him.
Yeah, Joe Turney really struggling in the more difficult complexes of the course, so that's where he's losing most of his time. If he gets a disappointing run out of top bend, Clark will get him before the braking zone, and Johnson is going to go right with him if he keeps this up as well. He's got a few car lengths to make up, but if Turney's tyres are falling off that much, Johnson could get 2nd before the end of this race as well. Here we go. Clark's right on him. He's got him on the slipstream. Is he going to go through into Billy's bend? Billy's blind, he's going to go through to the inside. Surely we'll watch as they come through. No, he's sat behind him one more lap. He's just sizing him up, waiting for the opportune moment. Here is the opportune moment. Turney's gone wide, and that's the lead. Thank you very much. And Clark could disappear from here on in.
He can get his big sponge hand out, Joe Turney, and give it a big wave because Oliver Clark is going to be gone. You can see Turney there. His tyres are completely gone.
Yeah.
Best he can hope for here is a podium at best. Get the big sponge hand out, Joe, and give Oliver Clark a big old wave.
And even that is going to be a struggle because the rate of speed he's losing. Look, Johnson has dropped these guys behind. Johnson is into a position where he can challenge for 2nd, but these three are not pushing each other for position. They're just guiding each other further forward. If they're conservative with their tyres, even on the last lap, they could displace Turney and drop him off the podium. So there's time to do it.
Johnson is closing Turney down now, so I'm not convinced Joe Turney is going to hold on to the podium here because look at this, Johnson is definitely getting closer.
So into Billy's blind once again. These three now working in unison. Lawrence, Kimber and Wooldridge working together, not pushing each other in terms of position, just edging each other further forward. Johnson is making mincemeat out of Turney's advantage. Oliver Clark disappearing out in front, but of course Oliver Clark can't afford to push too hard because he's come from the 6th row of the grid up to the lead, but he doesn't want to overcook his tyres. Now he's in the lead, he just needs to control the pace because he knows that Turney is slower than him, so he's just controlling the pace. Look, he's got the same gap Turney had 4 laps ago.
Bear in mind as well, he sees his engine in the pre-final. I'm not sure how far he went in that pre-final, but clearly if you seize your engine in the pre-final, you haven't done full race distance. His tyres are that much fresher, Jake, so he may have started 13th, but he's on a fresher set of tyres.
Here goes Wooldridge. Wooldridge is through, up into P5, and Johnson makes the move for second on Turney, and he's through. So Turney is dropping back to 3rd position now, but the rate of speed he's losing, he may lose the podium here as well. There's Clark, he's long gone. Johnson in 2nd. Turney is desperately trying to stay with him and get back into 2nd position. He's got no choice. He's got to race Johnson and hope that he can get back through, but already he's dropping him.
Now the 2 drivers in front of Joe Turney here, they started this race P12, P13 because they didn't complete the pre-final, hence why their tyres are much fresher than Turney. However, Turney's a canny driver. He will understand that, all right, okay, so you 2 are in front of me, but if it stays like this, Turney will have the championship lead moving forward to the next round. He'll know that the man leading the race, Oliver Clark, finished 12th in that pre-final, and Roy Johnson just in front of him now finished 13th, and he was well up the field, so he'll have points in hand over them. He won't be too concerned about them leading.
You know the man who's going to decide the podium? That man, Wooldridge, having made the move now on Lawrence. He's got through and got to the front of the queue. I was going to say, that's the man who's going to determine whether Turney finishes on the podium or not, because if he decides enough is enough, I'm going to just go for 4th position and try and leave these guys. He needs the help to gain that ground still on Turney. If Turney's just able to sit on the bumper of Roy Johnson, exactly as you said, Alan, then he is going to pick up enough points to lead the championship leaving here. So it's damage limitation for Turney, but now that Wooldridge has decided enough, I'm just going to charge after you, he's going to be alone to charge after. He's going to try and lose Lawrence and Kimber and try and get that, and I'm not sure he's got enough time alone to catch him. I think he's going to need the support.
He's a junior champion in junior Rotax, Joe Turney. He knows how to win races, he knows how to win championships. All right, he's dropping off the back of Johnson now, but as I said before, he's a very clever driver. He will know that the 2 drivers in front of him will well down behind him in the pre-final, and he's got championship points in hand over them. He'll know if he can hold on to 3rd place here, he will lead the championship going to the next round.
Whoops, up and over the curbs for Kimber as he follows in pursuit behind Gus Lawrence once again as they continue to tussle away for position. They come through the final couple of corners once again. There's your leader, Oliver Clark, way out in command of things, having an absolutely cracking run. 2nd place, Roy Johnson. Look how much he's gained on Joe Turney, but as you said, I think Turney's managed to give himself enough space and enough of a gap to hold on to that 3rd position. Now what's going to be interesting is Mark Kimber going to go, well, okay, Wooldridge has got us, let's just battle amongst ourselves. So Wooldridge, I think he's quick, but I'm not sure he's got enough speed under him to push his way forward for podium now. I don't think he can do it.
I think the time is counted now. I don't think he's got enough time to catch Turney unless Turney has a major malfunction here.
So let's see, Clark in front of Johnson and Turney. Turney doing okay in 3rd position considering his tyres are shot. 4th place, Wooldridge, and he's gained a bit of ground on these 2 now. Lawrence and Kimber behind them. I think it's now Ryan Green who's up there in 7th position. Again, a very conservative drive for Green as he comes into the back of our picture. No, that's Will Pettit has got him. So Will Pettit is now up into P7. Again, quiet, mature driving from Pettit has got him into 7th place. Here he is. Then it's Ryan Green, then Roman Haskett. Bobby Game is just desperately trying to hang on to them. Yeah,
Bobby, obviously, he was right in the mix earlier on, potentially challenging for the lead, and he's way down the field now, and that is not because of him as a driver. That is clearly something wrong with his car, unfortunately.
Now, Kimber hustling Gus Lawrence in the final stages of this race, up and over the curbs. You don't want to do that too much because that will exacerbate the tyre life, but he's got enough in him to just hang on to the tail of Gus Lawrence. He will know, he can't just sling it up the inside. He needs to be behind Lawrence going into the final couple of laps to really give himself the best chance. Rain spots on the camera. Here we go again. We need this race to end quickly, otherwise there's going to be more carnage. But there were definitely rain spots on the camera lens that last time by. Maybe that's from a race earlier on though, because looking around, I'm not seeing too much hassle in the air.
No, that's going to be spots. It is drizzling slightly. The camera lenses
yeah,
will be clean between races, so
yeah, I can see it now. There's another one.
Make it out there.
So is this going to develop into a proper rain shower, or are they just going to be able to hang on? Well, it's definitely spitting, but for this man, it's looking neat and tidy. Oliver Clark is on his way to victory. He's looking very good with 2 to go as he hops over the S's, down the Sterney straight, from 12th on the grid. Absolutely superlative. From the 6th row, Oliver Clark has worked his way through and picked the karts off one by one like raisins, and he's got himself an amazing lead, working incredibly hard here. And what a race win this is going to be for him on the Tony Kart chassis.
Water on the lens there though, Jake. He's got there's a lap to go as he crosses the line this time.
Drive the fastest lap of your life, otherwise you could end this race in the barriers last lap, and it couldn't come sooner for the drivers out there who are battling the rain. Now look at that. Wooldridge has got himself well clear. Oliver Clark, no surprises, fastest lap at 32.77, but only the rain now really can stop Turney from getting on the podium. Wooldridge has just got to have blind faith and go for it if he's going to make the podium, but this man has absolutely run away with this. He's been the master of clay pigeon today in the OK Seniors. Just as the rain really gets heavy, he's going to cross the line and take the checkered flag, and what a victory, and he is jubilant and absolutely dominant. Fantastic display. Roy Johnson in 2nd place. Well done to Joe Turney. Measured drive, and that's good for the championship hunt. Wooldridge is in 4th position in front of his combatants, Gus Lawrence and Mark Kimber. Will Pettit crosses the line in 7th in front of Haskett and Green, but post-race, it's Green who is awarded 7th in front of Bobby Game, with post-race penalties for Will Pettit and Roman Haskett. Hudson just in the top 10.
Oliver, congratulations. She had a big gap to make up there on Joe at one point, but you closed him in, got the lead and just cleared off. Who do you want to thank for your success this weekend?
I want to thank Kieran Corley at M Sport, my mum and dad, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, and just talk us through the race from your point of view. Fairly straightforward, I think, once you got the lead at least.
Well, I had to start at the back because I seized in the pre-final, and then in the final it was like the only race that actually finished. I just worked my way through, and then once I got in the lead, pushed, and then didn't really push too hard in the last laps to make sure I didn't make another mistake, and just comfortably took the win.
Well, those earlier mechanical problems Oliver talking about there has cost him the championship lead. He's there in 4th place, but it's very close. Turney leads it from Kimber Lawrence, Clark in 4th, and Bobby Game in 5th. Join us again for more Super 1 action from Fulbeck in a few weeks' time. The drone will be out.